Hey, what's up, Helldivers? Today we've got news about how we failed the latest major order, plus a brand new major order from High Command that's basically instructing us to rebuild Super Earth. The QA lead, Jojo, talks a little bit more into the Leviathan issue, and I'll also share a cool tip for overship missions, and there's just so much more I'll be covering. If you enjoyed the content, please show some love by hitting the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Let's jump right in. Alrighty, we've got some bad news. We couldn't liberate the last planet for the major order and unfortunately failed it. I'm sure this isn't a shocker for most of you. I've seen some players feeling a bit fatigued with the Illuminate lately, especially with these major orders, which I'll discuss later on in the video. For now, if you're nowhere near your PC or PlayStation, let me read the failed message from High Command right here, and here's what they wrote. The Helldivers' tenacious attempt to reclaim our corrupted cities has failed. The cost of this failure is grievous. An unfathomable number of citizens have been rendered into voteless monstrosities. Intelligence from dismantled xenostructures affirms the Illuminate are attempting to re-establish their former empire, using our rightfully owned worlds as its foundation. Recovered Illuminate material stockpiles confirm the elevated risk of the Illuminate resurgence. Even now, they are likely twisting our holdings into even more terrible domains of their totalitarian cult. Analysts expect the renegade xenophobic aggressors will soon target other isolated worlds, especially those demonstrating lower levels of overt patriotism. In response, the Ministry of Unity has today bolstered the federal predissonance program. Extra vigilant citizens will be awarded CCS score boosts for each report of subversive activity, with rewards multiplied upon successful verification of predissonance. The Illuminates seek to rebuild their empire. They likely anticipate success. Though this battle was lost, the Helldivers will ensure their ambition and their structures will be ground into dust. What's interesting about this failed message is that High Command mentioned the Illuminates' efforts to re-establish their former empire. We've seen the squids recently placing beacons on several planets they've taken, which can only mean one thing: they're calling in reinforcements, likely the original, more powerful squids from Helldivers 1, not the ones we're facing now. Also, High Command even mentioned that we've recovered stockpiles. So it definitely looks like we'll eventually face new Illuminate enemies, but the question is, when? I don't have an answer yet. We know they'll keep hitting planets on the bottom of the galactic map, and eventually they'll claim a homeworld, just like Cyberstan is for the cyborgs. Speaking of which, we still don't know if the cyborgs are on Cyberstan or if they created the automatons. Hell, maybe the automatons took over the cyborgs. But I'd love to learn more about that in the future at some point if we can. For now, we've got a brand new major order that's straightforward: defeat 290 million Illuminates and 2 billion Terminids. Besides that, High Command posted this on the Galactic War Map. The monumental effort to rebuild Super Earth is underway. A full damage assessment has concluded, exhaustively detailing the incalculable wounds inflicted upon our sovereign homeworld and their monetary cost adjusted for inflation. Pursuant to intergalactic law, substantial war reparations are now owed by the Illuminate. The allocated period for redress has elapsed. Our hand is forced to advance our reconstruction and secure a brighter future for all citizens. Super Earth will now collect what is owed through compulsory asset forfeiture. Helldivers, you are to execute 290 million arrogant Illuminate fugitives. Analysts calculate this will commensurate with the reparations owed, delivering sufficient technology, material, and justice. Furthermore, a tribunal of trusted citizen servants has designated the Terminids as abettors bearing secondary liability. Helldivers will cull 2,900 million of the mindless insects, harvesting E710 as the means of restitution. The galaxy bore witness to the price of attack and freedom. Now it shall know its cost too. So there we go. It looks like we're finally rebuilding Super Earth by defeating a certain amount of enemies, collecting technology from the Illuminates, and gathering a bunch of E710 from the Terminids. Now, I do like the idea that we're rebuilding everything, but I've also noticed that some players don't really share the same opinion. I've noticed on Reddit there were a few comments basically exhausted with the Illuminate Mage Orders. Someone even said that they're going to ignore this Mage Order. So I don't know what the developers can do to motivate Helldivers to participate. Maybe they could offer a better incentive. Instead of complete a Mage Order, then get medals. Instead, they could offer 50 rare samples or 70 common samples. Hell, maybe even throw in some super samples. I'd actually like to see super credits at some point. I think that would motivate a lot of Helldivers to help complete these major orders. In fact, I believe if there was a brand new stratagem offered as a reward, that'd be awesome to see again. It's been quite a while since we've gotten a major order that hands out a new stratagem. The last one I believe was the Grenadier stratagem that I don't see used often. Perhaps if they were to give us a new mech, that'd be amazing, and I can see so many Helldivers wanting that as a reward and helping out. But hey, you can let me know what you think about that in the comments below. What would you like to see in the next major order? Would you like to see a brand new stratagem offered, or what would you like to see out of these major orders? Let me know. Moving along, we've got a message on the official Helldivers 2 Discord from a QA lead, Jojo, responding to a Helldiver who asked if it's intentional for Leviathans to respawn after we defeat them, or if it's a bug. In response to that great question, Jojo said he can't speak on the design intent, but he did say to just know the next update will make them less frustrating. Now, I'm not too sure if he's saying they're going to reduce the spawns, but it for sure sounds like that's a possibility. I think my biggest gripe with the Leviathans is getting ragdolled a ton. I've talked about this in a previous video just recently, that it's bad to get ragdolled once, but once you get ragdolled, usually there's another hit that ragdolls you again on the ground, and sometimes you can get ragdolled up to 5 times on the ground with no chance to recover. And that's what I find annoying about it. If I could at least recover and dodge a shot, I wouldn't mind them one bit. I've seen a few Helldivers suggest being able to take out their turrets, which would help, or make them a bit weaker. I've also seen comments about reducing their spawn rates or turning them into a secondary objective. There are a lot of different opinions and ideas out there, and I'm excited to see what the developers do in the next patch. Speaking of the Illuminate, did you know you can use a stratagem like the AMR to take down the shields on an overship, which can make it somewhat easier to bring it down? If not, let me show you the proof right here. You can see I'm using the AMR to fire at the ship in the distance, which of course has a shield. The total amount of ammo it takes is basically all of the AMR's ammo, but eventually the shields will drop, and you can use the cannon to fire at the overship. I'm sure there'll be some comments about this tactic, and I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just basically showing it's possible. You can for sure complete this mission normally and do it the way you want. But for those out there that just want to try something different, give it a shot and see what you think. On a related note about the squids, a player posted an amazing suggestion on the Helldivers 2 subreddit page stating that Ion Storm should prevent both the squids and bots from calling in reinforcements. This actually makes a lot of sense, and I'm kind of surprised it's not a feature. The reason I say it makes sense is because, well, our Super Destroyer cannot send down stratagems due to the storms, so that same logic should apply to Illuminates and automatons. If the developers were to do this, I don't think it'd make things easier. It would just be an awesome feature to see. I like the idea that environments make a difference on the field, like how acid storms make armors weaker and can be destroyed faster. What do you Helldivers think about this suggestion? Is it good or a bad idea? I personally like it a lot and hope the developers make it possible in the future. With that topic aside, I'd like to bring up an issue I discussed a couple of days ago about how stimming when using an emplacement can permanently stop your weapon from functioning right and make it so that you cannot fire it. There's 2 things I'd like to correct and bring to your attention. First off, this bug doesn't just apply to emplacements, it can also be a huge problem when using the HMG on the fast recon vehicle, as you can see here. So as long as you don't stim while firing it, or just stim in general when using it, you should be okay. However, there's some good news to this. You can fix this bug by swapping to a support stratagem like the Stalwart, or any support stratagem equipped to your back. Hopefully these 2 tips will help you out and prevent you from bugging your weapons. I've got a feeling there will be an update soon that will resolve this, in the upcoming Tuesday, and it'll be great to see what's included in the next update. I'd also like to point out that the developers are fully aware of this. As you can see on the known issues, they have it listed right there. So we'll see what happens. Lastly, we've got the top 3 comments, starting off with Calvin. You listed that the problems with the Leviathan wasn't the mechanics, it's the effort to counter them, and I completely agree. There is a point where it becomes annoying. You defeat one, then another one spawns in, and so on, right? Yes, that is a big issue, and I agree now. You know, I said in a previous video that the spawns might not be a big issue because I feel like the ragdolling is the biggest problem. But to be fair, your point right here is just on point. Point on point. You get it. But yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. The second top comment comes from Cruz. I can already see it. Leviathan shots no longer ragdoll the player, but to make up for it, fire rate and accuracy of the cannons have been increased to maintain lethality. Jesus, I hope that doesn't happen. If it does, I'm just going to say you jinxed it, and I'm going to bring up this comment next time. I don't think it will happen. However, you never know, right? The third and final comment is by Ryannon7. Hopefully I'm not mispronouncing your name. If I did, I apologize. You said the Leviathan should be turned into a stingray spawner, and it should be a secondary objective that once destroyed does not respawn. That would make them much more interesting and worth spending the time to take them out. Yeah, that right there is not a bad suggestion, and I think I talked about that earlier in today's video, that it should be a secondary objective, and this right here is the comment I'm talking about. And I think that's a great idea. Like I just said, I think this is something I would like to see, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in this next patch. So with the top 3 comments out of the way, I hope you have enjoyed the video today. If you have, consider tapping the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications as well if you haven't already. Thank you to everyone that's currently a member on the channel, and you subscribers out there, I appreciate you so much, as well as the lurkers. I always got to give you guys a shout out. I know you're lurking on the channel, you're not subscribed, that's perfectly fine. I just appreciate the fact that you came by, checked out the video, and all that good stuff. So thank you so much, and to everyone else, and I'll see you in the next video.